Hello book lovers, my name is Carrie and this is Spines and Spoilers. So it's been a little while. How have you been? What's new with you? Oh. Really? Down the elevator shaft. Okay. You should get that checked out by a professional. I am not qualified to handle this situation, but in the meantime, let's talk about all the books that I read in December, January, and February. That seems like it might distract you from whatever that whole situation is. It's been a while since I've had the time, motivation, and resources to record, unfortunately. 2022 was a really rough year for my family in general, and then near the end it was like it just needed to have one grand finale and things sort of blew up again. And I won't go into specifics, but I will say that there was a death in the family, and there's still technically stuff kind of simmering, but things have mostly calmed down. All of this was coinciding with the fact that I lost my insurance and was no longer able to see my psychiatrist because I moved. And yeah, my mental health was just kind of doing one of these when the whole world was exploding. So yeah, all of that is a perfect recipe for, one, not really feeling like reading in general, two, not having time, three, just not having the motivation to be on camera. I had to get up and dressed and motivated today because I had an appointment with my new psychiatrist, which actually went really well. Otherwise, I don't think I would be recording right now. At any rate, let's get into this. I usually start my videos when I can remember to do so with what I am drinking and what I am reading. At the moment, I'm literally just drinking ice water. I would usually have coffee or something, but that requires motivation, and we don't have that in this house. And as far as what I'm reading goes, I'm actually listening to the audiobook for The Return of the King. I've been rereading the trilogy, or the series, or however you want to put it. I've been rereading that this month, listening to the audiobooks and reading the physical copy when I have the time. And that's been a really nice journey down memory road. Memory road? Memory lane? I don't know. Now, as far as December goes, long ago it feels like, I read 9 books, or at least I wrote 9 books down on paper. I feel like I probably read a couple more than that, but I didn't write them down and I didn't put them on my Goodreads, so I don't remember anything about them. Like I said, it feels like it's been a lifetime since then. This is just generally the beginning of December before everything completely exploded. I actually read all of these for the Reindeer Readathon, and my husband helped me pick out over half of them, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, the first one is They're Made Out of Meat by Terry Bison. That was one of the ones that my husband picked out. It's a short story, and it was much funnier than I expected it to be. I ended up giving it 4 stars, and it was a good time. It was a whole good time. It was very short, but it was fun. Also, I should say, because of the fact that I am like in a depressed state at the moment, my brain is not entirely lucid, I guess the word would be. I'm still pretty lethargic, honestly, mentally. So I will not be as articulate today as I have been in the past, because, you know, I'm just a beacon of articulation usually, not really. But yeah, if it seems like I'm just saying ugh read book, ugh like book, that is why. The second book that I read in December was The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I gave it a 3.5. I honestly enjoyed it more than I thought I would, though. I don't generally like books all that much that are about fairies. I can't even remember why I wanted to read this one, or why I have a physical copy of it. Why am I not holding the physical copy of it right now? Because I'm depressed. Okay, leave me alone. Yeah, I gave it around a 3.5. I ended up enjoying it a lot more than I thought I would. I would actually read the sequel, I think. Maybe. The third book that I read in December was Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. Didn't hate that book quite as much as I expected it to. That book gets a lot of vitriol. It was still not quite my cup of tea. It's not something that I would have chosen for myself. This is another one that my husband chose for me. But yeah, it wasn't nearly as bad as people make it out to be. The fourth book that I read was Book of Night by Holly Black. That was another Holly Black book. I actually forgot that I read 2 books by her in the same month. This one got 3 stars, and I kind of debated whether I even wanted to give it that. If I remember correctly, see, I don't remember a lot about it. It was just very okay. And obviously not very memorable. I can't remember a single thing about this book. The 6th book that I read was Symptoms of Being Human by Jeff Garvin. This was another one that my husband picked out for me, and I was actually really happy that he did by the end of it. I gave it 4.5. There was a little bit of room for improvement, so I didn't give it the full 5. But I actually really enjoyed it, and I'm glad that my husband is an English teacher and is sharing this book with, you know, people who are in its demographic, sharing with teenagers, because they do need to be reading this book and developing empathy, you know, for one another. But yes, I really enjoyed that book and didn't expect to, because I didn't really know what I was getting into. Number 7 was Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. I can't believe that I read this in December. It feels like it was a year ago. That's so wild. I gave this one 4 stars. Retroactively, I really enjoyed this book. I've read more Riley Sager since then. We'll get to that point. But I actually really enjoy Riley Sager's writing. I think it just scratches a particular itch in my brain. The 8th book that I read in December was The Narrative of Arthur Gordon Pym of Nantucket by Edgar Allan Poe. It is the only book that he wrote, the actual, like, full-length novel from what I recall. And I enjoy Edgar Allan Poe in general, so of course I ended up enjoying this one. I gave it a 3.5, but I feel like that just bodes... People give 3.5 a bad rap. 3.5 is not bad, okay? It means it was good. Maybe retrospectively it could have deserved 4. I don't know, but still. The 9th thing that I read was Destroyer by Victor Lavelle. This was a graphic novel series. I gave it 4 stars. Retroactively, though, I think it's probably closer to 4.5. I really enjoyed it. Highly recommend it. It doesn't take very long at all to get through. And that's it for December. Like I said, I'm pretty sure I read more in December than that, and I just didn't write it down. But it's gone. Completely gone from my memory. Lost to the sands of time. On to the month of January. You will notice a pattern here. I have kind of sectioned things off, because what happened was I would find an author that I was enjoying reading at that moment in time, and then I would just read everything that I could find by them at that point in time. So the first 3 books are by Riley Sager. They're Survive the Night, Final Girls, and The House Across the Lake. I enjoyed all of them in different ways. I think I enjoyed Survive the Night the most, but I can see benefits to all of them. Everything fell between like a 3 to a 4 star. Nothing earth-shattering, but I would read them again. The next 2 are by Elle Cosimond. It's Finley Donovan is Killing It, and Finley Donovan Knocks Him Dead. Part of the same series. It's a trilogy now, and we will get to that 3rd one in a little bit. These were so silly and funny. And again, it just kind of scratched an itch in my brain. The next 2 were a lot of fun. They're by Simone St. James. There's The Sundown Motel and The Book of Cold Cases, both of which mixed mystery and the supernatural. I love ghosty things, but it really depends on how it's done, and I really enjoyed the way that Simone St. James handled her ghosts. Okay, that's it for the stuff that's grouped together. Next I read My Heart is a Chainsaw by Stephen Graham Jones. finally, it took me so long to get around to reading this book. It was on my TBR so many times throughout the year, and I finally got around to reading it. Totally worth it. I absolutely loved it. I want to sit down and reread it sometime soon. Now, these last two are the only ones that I didn't really enjoy, and I'm probably gonna get a little bit of hate for both of them. The first one is I Kissed Sarah Wheeler by Casey McKinston. I am obviously not in the demographic for this book. I could not get into it. I just, it's not often that I feel like, oh, this is just written for a different age range that, you know, I can't really relate to. But I can't get into this type of story. It was not for me. And then the next one is The Hunting Party by Lucy Foley. I actually tried to read 2 other Lucy Foley books. I don't remember their names, actually. But I tried reading 3 Lucy Foley books in a row and had the same reaction to each of them. I couldn't get into them. It could be the state of my mind at this point in time. It really could just be that. Hell, it could be that for Sarah Wheeler as well. But I just could not get into it, and I was not interested in it at all. I would just start to drift off and wish that I was reading something else. So, yeah, that's unfortunate because I've heard a lot of good things about her stuff, but maybe I'll come back to her when I have more of my mental faculties present and give her another go. On to February, the current month. I'm going to go ahead and do a wrap-up because I'm going to hazard a guess that I'm probably not going to get a lot more reading done for the month. Now, I've already mentioned everything that I've read actually in the month of February, but I'm going to say it again. So I read Fellowship of the Ring and The Two Towers. Those were both rereads. I had read them a couple of times when I was younger and hadn't read them again in a very long time because it was just easier to go and watch the movie, honestly. It felt like it was going to take more patience than it has to do a reread of the books. I still love it just as much, probably more, as when I originally read it when I was like 10 years old. And then the third and last book that I have read so far in the month of February is Finley Donovan Jumps the Gun by Elle Cosimand. And it was just as good as the other ones. I don't know what to tell you. And that's it. That was it for December, January, and February. Hopefully I'll be able to pick my reading up a little bit more sometime soon. I do know that I'm not making any distinct plans. Why are you shaking? My camera is like trembling and I don't know why. But yeah, I'll go ahead and say that I don't really think that I'm going to set any distinct plans for the month of March. My younger sibling is getting married in March, which is actually very exciting, and I'm glad that I'm actually going to be kind of medicated by that point again, so maybe I can enjoy it and be aware and cognizant and all that jazz, and not just be sleepwalking through it. I'm going to try my best to get back to a normal reading and posting schedule around April if I can. I'm just gonna go ahead and give myself March and assume that's probably not gonna happen, but that's okay. But thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it more than you know. I hope that you guys are out there staying safe and enjoying what's left of the winter, if there's any left where you are. But thank you for watching, thank you for sticking around. I really do appreciate it. If you want to like and share and subscribe and all that jazz, please do. But what is most important is that you remember to love yourself. And ask yourself why I just slipped into a random accent. I don't know. Anyway, bye!